I sure hope this is the last time I got to remind the American people, you've got to wake up before it's too doggone late. Now, this is from the Gateway Pundit, April 19th, 2020. And what's it say? It says, the top of the FBI was scum. You'll find out what I'm going to do, said President Trump, as he goes off on the corrupt deep state scum. You see this stuff going on, you don't put it all together. Part of the New World Order wants to discredit the FBI and have it abolished because the FBI is always looking after people who have communist ties. But when you had people like Clinton in there and Obama, they weren't looking for communists. Or even Bush, because they're running around looking for, domestic terrorists. They're a big threat. No, the biggest threat is the United Nations and their communist agenda. Let's go over here a minute. If I can do this right. Follow the progressive checklist. Okay. I want you to looky here. It says, thanks to the good people over at WW Truth page, there's a list of 45 current communist goals for America, which was appeared in the congressional records of January 10th, 1963. Some of these have been met, some not yet. To develop the illusion that total disarmament by America is a demonstration of moral strength. Grant recognition of China, admit China to the United Nations. Promote the UN as the only hope for mankind. If its charter is rewritten, demand that it be set up as a one world government with its own independent armed forces. Capture one or both of the political parties in the United States. Well, they got the Democrats. Use technical decisions of the courts to weaken basic American institutions by claiming their activities violate civil rights. Get control of the schools. Use them as transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda. Soften the curriculum. It's called the dumbing down of America, people. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all form of artistic expressions. Remove all sculptures from parks and buildings. Substitute shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. Discredit the American Constitution by calling it inadequate. The American Constitution is inadequate, old-fashioned, out of step with modern needs, a hindrance to cooperation with modern needs. Okay? I'm sorry, people, but I've done this so many times. Okay, support any socialist movement by giving central control over part of the culture. They've already signed our parks and stuff over to the United Nations. Let's see. Support all socialist movement to give central control over the culture, education, social agency, welfare programs, mental health clinics, etc. You got that? The health thing about taking guns away, red flags. Discredit and eventually dismantle the FBI. You see that? Transfer some of the powers of arrest from police to social agency. Treat all behavioral problems as psychiatric disorders which no one but a psychiatrist can understand or treat. Dominate the psychotic profession and use mental health laws as a means of gaining coercive control over those who oppose communist goals. this is something I happened to save. I'm glad I did. I better unzoom this just a little bit. This is from Newswatch magazine, October 2005. Okay. This is from K. Bailey Hutchinson, United States Senate. It is great, sir, that I inform you I cannot support you for senator. The reason? You have never introduced legislation to abolish the illegal Federal Reserve System. International communism stated in the Communist Manifesto that they strive to implement a central bank in every nation to help overthrow it and overthrow our Constitution. Our Constitution, which you took an oath to uphold and defend, that only Congress can coin money and value, not a central bank that charges us interest. The Federal Reserve System was designed to loot our nation, and that's just what it's doing. I realize now when John F. Kennedy signed an executive order to print U.S. notes and eventually eliminate the Federal Reserve. But he was assassinated. Another reason I cannot support you is you have not supported Congressman Ron Paul in his drive to get the United Nations out of the United States. The United Nations organization was created by communists. And it can only bring about a communist-style, one-world government. Alger Hess, convicted as a communist spy and a communist from Russia, wrote the charter, being a member of that organization and adopting its treaties are destroying our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. Our founding fathers said we should never get entangled with any kind of alliances from European powers because of their intrigue to rule the world. You support this anti-Christ, anti-God, anti-American group of third world countries, communist countries, and terrorist-sponsoring countries. We should stop supporting it now. Withdraw from it, and they can move their headquarters to another nation. We are supporting them with 24% of their budget. Another reason I cannot support you because you supported President Bush. He used 911 to have legislation which was already prepared, passed without congressmen and senators ever reading, to create a near dictatorship in America. It further stripped away our constitutional rights and our Bill of Rights. In the early 1990s, the head of the Iraq Weapons of Mass Destruction program defected to the United States. He reported that he personally supervised the destruction process. That was known over 10 years ago, yet President Bush and Vice President Cheney sent our men and women over in harm's way by stating the opposite. Never has there been found any weapons of mass destruction. President Bush's father used the 1990-1991 Iraq War and to call out the New World Order 210 times. That's brainwashing people. They all want us to merge into one powerful, one world government and lose our national sovereignty. Another reason I cannot support you, because you do not object to the communist program of free trade to redistribute our wealth to foreign countries. We have lost over 400 manufacturing things to communist China and too many to count in Mexico. They charge tariffs on imports from our country, but we let their products come into our country duty-free, therefore making them less expensive and driving our manufacturing out of business, and they have to flee the countries just to survive. Millions have lost their jobs as a result, and we are becoming a third world country. And this was signed by David Smith. He wrote this. Now that, people, is what is going on in the United States of America if you do not wake up to the fact that we are being overthrown peacefully without even firing a shot. The United Nations is a Trojan horse, and you better wake up to that fact. You better wake up to what's going on. Okay, I've said enough on here. All I can tell you, people, is it's there. It's real. It's causing all the turmoil and destruction of America. Get the United Nations off of our soil. I'll go back here just for a second. Get this. You just can't sit back and expect the president to do all this himself unless you get out and protest and let the world know we know what the hell's going on and we're going to put a stop to it. Thanks for watching. I'll put a link.